Welcome back everyone. Today I want to showcase to you in-game screenshots from Transformers Reactivate's build all the way up to the beta of 2020. I'm going to be talking about in-game systems, content and gameplay, be that your character's armory, settings menus, world map, playable areas, world questing and map loot activities, the in-game economy and marketplace, user trading and mailing systems, in-game guilds, character loadouts, movement tech and functionality, item rarity systems, emblems and finally crafting systems for your characters and weapons. Before we begin, I want to say a big thank you to all of the support that you guys have given me over the past couple of weeks. It means a lot to me and we've gained a whole lot of new subs to the channel. So, welcome everyone, I hope you enjoy your stay all the way up to Transformers Reactivate's launch and beta coming 2023. Okay, so let's start off with an in-game look at the armory info screen. Lots to cover here. We can see an in-game model of Starscream, so yes, we will indeed be playing as our favorite Transformers in Transformers Reactivate. Think of them in terms of frames from Warframe. You can see Starscream is holding what looks to be a shock carbine, one of the weapons in the game. This is backed up with the weapons appearing in the bottom of the screen with a level pop-up alongside its image and name. This confirming weapon leveling will be in the game and will be a cornerstone goal in our leveling journey to hit endgame. This accompanied with what looks to be an indication towards a class system inside of the game, with Starscream having that associated Scout class with an attached level. This possibly alluding to maybe class specific weaponry, mods and or abilities for select characters, though that is just speculation on my part. With this, we head down to see the stats for our character, starting off with base health, armor, shield and shield strength values, alongside alt mode damage, speed, boost and mod capacity. This showcasing to us that not only will we have HP and armor, but shields and character stat boosters in the form of mods. From here we move on to the top of the screen, in which showcasing us an account username, with what looks to be some form of score associated, with that of which being on a Destiny styled emblem per se, possibly activity score, kill counter and or maybe even a mastery rank like in terms of say Warframe, alongside account based currencies, with that of which to appears a premium based currency and an in-game based one. These will most likely be tied to in-store purchases and marketplace only trading and the economy. I'll talk about this in a bit. For now, let's keep going. We can see a mods tab, followed that with an upgrade, specialization and customization alongside an info tab, which we are currently located in. This is just backing up what we already know that to be within the game's systems, that they will be based around having crafting mods alongside upgrading weapons and characters. Now with this I move on to a new screenshot, but this time it's showcasing off a character level pop-up for that of Bumblebee. Again, confirming character leveling alongside possible level based unlocks for Transformers in the early game. We can also see a bio description for Starscream. It reads as following. Starscream is a loud, boisterous and often untrustworthy Decepticon scout who for centuries has tried to usurp Megatron's rule. Despite his sometimes simpering nature, Starscream is as dangerous as they come. With Optimus Prime and Megatron currently unaccounted for, Starscream is simply laying in wait for the perfect opportunity to seize control. With his null ray bot ability, it fires multiple rays in which weakening and slowing adversaries. For his alt mode ability, a barrage targets multiple enemies with smart missiles when facing down superior numbers. Starscream's ultimate ability, a charged null ray, fires 2 null beams, rendering enemies defenseless and immobile. So now, with this we know how Starscream's abilities will function. They line up with the correlating abilities widget at the bottom left of the screen. Now we also know that each Transformer will have its own set of abilities unique to them, like frames in Warframe, one ability for the bot mode, one ability for the alt mode, and lastly one ultimate ability. Now I just wanted to quickly point out that we can indeed see a half and half Autobot, half Decepticon logo that appears behind Starscream. This showcasing possible faction alignment, with that being of Starscream is in the middle ground, playing both sides of the coin. This would be fitting given his character and the circumstances he is in. Now, moving onwards, I give you the first look at what an possible endgame character could look like. Not fully maxed, but within the likes of say this being Bumblebee, maybe mid to late game. There are a couple of key things to note here. Again, he is holding the shock carbine, but this time it appears slightly different. Possibly a weapon skin or perhaps a higher rarity and or variant of its base original model. Starting off with the top left, you can see an IV marking next to Bumblebee's name. This is the Roman numerals for the number 4 and what looks to seem, well at least to me, some sort of Transformer mastery level or even Ascension rank as a parallel to Warframe. We can also see what I reckon is a spec and or class system being that of under Bumblebee's name. We saw this before, but now the scout level is 20. So, be this classes can be swapped across characters or hard baked in is yet to be determined, and I'm not sure for certain, though it's just another added grind for us players to complete towards endgame. This is also paired with the scaling and increased stat line of that of the character, with a note being that made for the icons now showing in regard to the abilities of the Transformer, that of multi-shot, chain lightning, and blink. These do have placeholder text for the descriptions though, possibly this applies to at least the blink ability, that in the teleport at distance to a set target direction, which I think is really cool in terms of movement and gameplay mechanics, though whether or not that is to be placeholder in terms of the character itself being B is yet to be determined. From here we can see below the stats a new panel displaying mitigations. We can see a few listed. We have fire, ice, electric, and other, all with their own stats and numbers associated with each element. This gives us a huge look in terms of enemy types we will be encountering within the gameplay and activities of the game. We can expect elemental systems to appear in some form or another, be that enemy types, weapons, environmental effects, and or overall encounter design structures. From here, I just also wanted to bring this back up. We can see a now Autobot logo that appears behind Bumblebee inside the loadout screen, this indicating full Autobot alignment for the Transformer, which fits well for Bumblebee's case. Now, moving on, we can also see a number attached to this of the emblem has now changed, this reinforcing to me that it is some form of possible account mastery score and or tracker of some kind. Alongside this, we can also see what appears to be a guild tag being that of Stag, S-T-A-G, which indicates to me that not only will we be able to showcase our guild loyalty across our account, but it's a good form knowing that now it will be a 4-letter tag. Now we hop over to what is an ability inspect, showcasing what it will do and what it will be with a description and gameplay visual on how the ability works in game. This also giving us our first look as to what will be Bumblebee's alt mode in terms of an appearance for that of Transformers Reactivate. It seems to appear that of an off-road buggy of sorts, matching that of the renders and visual cue we've seen from the other screenshots. We also get to see the multi-shot ability in action, with that looking to be a firing off a widespread targeted range attack with multiple energon lightning orbs in the direction the player is facing. Now with this, while we don't get to see much, we can also see that they're in a road covered in dirt and a street lamp with what seems to be a rocky area with little sprinklings of shrubbery. This could possibly be what we see being New York if we compare alpha screenshots. Now moving onwards, we here have our first look at what form questing takes. From this we see a broad view of the overworld map alongside a quest menu pop-up with accompanying quests. We can see a My Quest tab with an available quest tabs right on its side. Within the quests we have daily, weekly, and special quests alongside slots to pick and choose what quests we have equipped at one time. These sections are paired with reset timers, giving a limited time scope for quest completion. Within the weekly quests, we get to see our first look at a quest, being that of to defeat 10 Twisted with a ranged weapon. This is paired with some rewards, being that of Transformers tech spec and Bumblebee tech spec. We also get to see the current progression being that of 3 out of 10 Twisted killed with a ranged weapon. We now move on to another version, but this time showcasing 2 currently equipped quests, both at different stages of completion, more or less showcasing the ability for multi-quest tracking. To point out quickly, we can also see in the bottom right PC text chat functionality. Moving forwards, we have another progression shot, but with this we get to see quest progression and levels up to 3, paired with the new and evolved quest challenges. Now we move on to see that of rewards sections for the quests. Looking at Longshot Part 2, we can see there are some rewards as such as being Transformers tech spec, rare weapon mods, Bumblebee tech spec, and shattered weapon augment mods. This then confirming once more that weapons and character mods with crafting will be playing a keystone role in Transformers progression. We can also see that with each level advance inside the quest, the challenges are changed to accompany that of the increased level. To end this off, we also get to see what a completed quest will look like, glowing gold with the highlighted rewards. Then we also have the new quests and or available quests for the player to pick from, these paired with glowing symbols at their corners alongside the border. Alright, now moving onwards, I quickly want to run over some MISC information. So we've got a Chicago as that of the second zone unlocked, a new sector named the Graveyard, quest completion with rewards incorporated within the pop-up, I'll be covering these reward items later. Then we have a new quest named Shockwave's Sad Remorseful Tirade. Very interesting, take that of what you will. Next up is another new quest called Headhunter, then ending off with another quest completion rewarding Starscream's chassis tech spec, marked by the smaller Decepticon logo. With that all out of the way, let us move on to the first look at New York, another area we'll be exploring within Transformers Reactivate. With this we also get to see a new loot-based activities menu alongside map icons for playable activities. Our first activity shown is that of called Survive, and it is named the Long and Winding Road. From here we get to see a bunch of different type of possible potential rewards we could get from that activity. Reactor Tank, Voltaic Artiface, Vehicular Capacitor, Nanowave Tank, Microfilament Targeting, Axionic Diffuser, Algid Field, and finally Burst Converter. With this we move on to the New York map displayed, this showing us a couple of things of note, one being that of the branching progression path seen in the little connecting dots from the activity to activity, this very similar to how in which Warframe planetary progression works. You complete each task to unlock the new area, if thus forth progressing until you reach to the end of the world, be that the Warp Gate or story quest progression, in our case here for Transformers Reactivate. This you can see by the fact that we locate a quest icon at the beginning of the New York map view, and with this we can periodically see more quests spread across the map further down in its progression path. They are accompanied with what looks to be bounty missions, defense missions, survival missions, and go here do a type of thing mission. Let me know what you reckon these are in the comments below. Now up here we have our first look as what to be is our inventory menu screen. We are now seeing what we're looking at to be of the resource section. Alongside this we get to see a bunch of different resource items within the player's inventory. Of note is some of the items that are not yet discovered, this letting us know that within the early game and the game's progression, we'll have to find and discover these materials and items to use within crafting and upgrading our Transformers, mods and weapons. We can also see yet again confirming that of item rarities and types with the showcased resources section, in which we see that of energon converters, memory modules, fiber optics and shielded cables. These aren't everything though, I have a bunch more that I'll be showcasing to you now. So we've got actuators, command modules, Cybertronian alloy, power cells, scrap metal, sensor bundles, spark chambers, and beryllium. Now, also at the top of the screen we can now see a few more tabs, starting off with what we have to be Home, Account, Guild, Market, Map, Transformers, Weapon, and Inventory, in which we're currently in. This is quite interesting. It seems we'll be bringing and not only having a guild system integrated within the game for players to come together for activities and form groups, but an online player-based marketplace. Now this is sounding really familiar in per se Warframe, in where you can buy and sell parts, frames and other items for premium currency and or in-game currencies. Also to note is that of the account tab. This is making me think we'll have to create and sign into a splash damage based account backend login system for accounts. Now with this we move on to a new pop-up menu covering that of shielded cable, in where you can see and find this resource. It showcases a portion of the map in which highlighting zones of relation to that of the selection item of detail, in where we'll also be able to state in where that item can be used to upgrade X component. Now something to note, while it may be speculation on my part, it seems that we might be getting world tiers introduced. With the likeliness of the Roman numerals at the top of this pop-up menu, this only appears one other time we've seen within this type of numbering system, and that being of B's supposed mastery rank. If this is so, then we could expect the mastery rank of Transformers to go up to all the way of that of being 5, indicated by the letter V. Let me know what you guys think of world tiers. I only think it's pretty pog and it's going to extend the grind and also be able to bring up starter zone content throughout the activities and lifespan of the game. Okay, so now we're moving on to the settings menus of the game, starting off with that of being controls. Not too much here of note, though we do get to see general keybinds for movement such as jumping, crouching, teabagging confirmed chat, and secondary fire. Though in the top right of the screen we can also see icon logos for that of our party, for that being of Soundwave, Ratchet and Bumblebee, all with associating numbers, being that possibly account mastery score of some form and or a tracker possibly. Also to note that we can see in the background that of a Decepticon's jet alt mode. I personally believe this to be of Slipstream as it matches the alt modes we've seen prior. As for the wings, they do not match that of Starscream or any other Decepticon jet I know of to be within the game. With this we move on to the accessibilities tab, where we get to see the languages for the menus and voices alongside subtitles battles and colorblind mode assists, with a NOR controller input down at the bottom. Now again, we see a transformer in the background, and as my chat has said previously, with this clearly being showcased as Windblade, the head and wing designs being that of the largest giveaways and iconicness to the character itself. I want to hear in the comments below, chat, what do we think of Windblade? Next up is the social tab, within a few things of note. First off, the background transformer again, this time looking to be possibly Skyfire is what I thought at first, though I'm pretty sure it's Starscream now. Let me know if you think I'm wrong. Also, we get to see another bunch of settings be of that mail invites, trading invites, recruiting invites, and a bunch of other settings. Interesting of note is the main and trading mentions being that letting us know that not only will we be able to message and communicate with other players, but we'll be able to use it to set up exchanges, and for that of trades being that of possible items, mats, or leveled assets being that of weapons and or transformers. With this, we move on to the audio tab. Not too much of note here really, just a background image of what looks to appear as Starscream, though I reckon it could always be one of the other iconic Seekers within the trio, be that Skyrock or Thundercracker. Now last off we have the video section, my personal favourite. We can see we've got resolution, display mode, brightness, VSync, frame rate limits. This is very nice, locating that we might have uncapped frame rates, not limited to 60 or any other crap like that. Then we can also see HDR, anti-aliasing quality, shadow quality, texture quality, particle quality. Of note, you can see some of them are set to epic, but we do not see particles as they were not within the build of this current game iteration. That meaning that the screenshots we have seen of B and the rest do not have any particles, chat. So remember, these are all from 2020, being that of pre-splash damage era. So remember, this game has had 2 to 3 years plus of more dev time, and could you imagine this game with ray tracing particles and up-to-date effects? It's gonna look a lot better if you ask me. Anyway, as again, we can see Slipstream in the background of what I'd assume to be it. Alongside, you can see, if I didn't point out already, this was version 2.2.3 with a CL being that of changelog 30,000 upwards. So, Certain Affinity were grinding, boys. I don't know what anyone else be saying, but they were grinding. Give them their props. So with that, we're now done. Hit that like button, boys, give me a subscribe, follow me for more Transformers Reactivate content info. That'd be me out.